Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalam children. Today we start with the topic cell part 3. Previously we were doing about the cell structures and everything. Now today we'll be doing red blood cell structure of cell. You see there are a different adaptation in the cell to perform certain function. So in this adaptation of cell, in the syllabus we have 3 types of cells: red blood cells, xylem cells, and root hair cells. Now we have to give about the what happens, what are the adaptations present in the red blood cell which helps to perform the function, what are the adaptation in xylem vessels, how do they perform their function, and what are the adaptation in the root hair cells. So first let's start with the red blood cells. In the red blood cells, you know, these are cells which are present in our body. They contain red pigment, iron containing pigment, which is called hemoglobin. So red pigment, iron containing pigment, they are called hemoglobin present. Now these due to the presence of this hemoglobin, the color of the blood is red. Hemoglobin function, what is the function of hemoglobin? Hemoglobin absorbs oxygen from the lungs. So when oxygen is absorbed by the hemoglobin, then that blood, oxygen containing blood is carried from the lung to all part of the body. So main function of hemoglobin is to transport oxygen. As you know, that nucleus is absent in the red blood cells. Now keep it clear in your mind. Any cells which does not contain nucleus, it means that they cannot divide. No cell division will take place. So red blood cells, no cell division will take place in red blood cell. They have a small life cycle. Their lifespan is about 120 days and 3 to 4 months. And because nucleus is absent, so no cell division will take place in the red blood cell. They have a span life of 120 years. After that, they will be destroyed. New red blood cell will take its place. Next, biconcave. They are biconcave in structure. Now, what is the meaning of biconcave? Biconcave in shape means they are thin in the center. This is biconcave, thick at the edges. So this is the structure, thin in the center, thick at the edges. So this is called biconcave. They are biconcave structures. As a result of that, biconcave, what happens in biconcave structure? The surface area to volume ratio increases. Now, what is the meaning of surface area to volume ratio increases? It means that diffusion will take faster. Diffusion take faster. Those bodies which are small in size, thin in structure, thin in thickness, their volume ratio, surface area to volume ratio is always high. The benefit of having high increased surface area to volume ratio means that absorption will take place rapidly. Diffusion will take place rapidly. Oxygen can diffuse in and out of the cell at faster rate. So again, I repeat again, red blood cells, it is cells present in the blood which help in transport of oxygen. Adaptation, they contain red pigment called hemoglobin. This is iron containing pigment. Hemoglobin, due to the presence of hemoglobin, the color of the red blood cell is red. Now what does hemoglobin do? It absorbs oxygen in the lungs. So after absorbing oxygen, the red blood cells become oxygenated, and this oxygenated red blood cell is carried to all parts of the body from the lung. Second point, nucleus is absent. So you know that it has a certain lifespan, that is 120 days. After that, it is destroyed by the liver. So nucleus is absent means no cell division will take place. Next adaptation is they are biconcave in shape, thin at the center, thick at the edge. So with this biconcave shape, the surface area to volume ratio increases. So when the surface area to volume ratio increases, what happens? The oxygen will diffuse. Oxygen can diffuse in and out of the cell at faster rate. So this is the reason for this adaptation. Red blood cell become an excellent transport agent for the transport of oxygen. Now we come to the second cell, xylem vessel. Xylem cell or xylem vessel. Xylem cell or xylem vessel, as you know, they are dead cells. In the beginning, they are alive, but after that, the nucleus, the nucleus, the cytoplasm, they are removed. They become dead cells. They have a deposit in their body on the structure, outer structure that is called lignin, and in the middle there is a hollow structure. The hollow structure, now you see they don't have cross wall. The xylem is long hollow tube. It does not contain protoplasm, and cytoplasm and nucleus both are absent. Neither cross wall. Now they do not have cross walls. See, I'm just drawing a rough diagram. This is the one xylem, the other xylem over here, then the other xylem. So there are many xylems, they join together. Now this in the middle, there is a hollow space. It is called lumen. The hollow space is called lumen. So what happens? That water and salt, they help in transport of water and salt from the root to the cell and the leaves. I'm repeating again. Xylem vessel is a long hollow tube. It does not contain protoplasm nor cross wall. They are dead cells. They have a thick deposit on the walls that is called lignin. So this is the wall of the xylem, which is called lignin, Lignin. Lignin is a material which gives thickness to the thickness and rigidity to the cell, so that it does not collapse. And in the center is the hollow space, no cross wall. Due to the absence of cross wall, it form a long hollow tube from the root to the leaf, and it enables water and salt to move easily. So through the liver, it helps in transport of water and salt from the root to the leaves of the plant. Now we come to the third cell. The third cell is known as root hair cell. It's a hair-like structure present in the root, so it is called root hair cells. And the root of the hair cells are very long, narrow, and thin structures. And as I told you, that long, narrow, and thin structure, what does long, narrow, and thin structure do? Long, narrow, and thin structure increases the surface area to volume ratio. And when surface area to volume ratio increases, what happens? It absorbs water and salt from the soil efficiently. So absorption of water and salt from the soil takes place rapidly, and then this by the absorbing water and salt, this root hair cell, it sends it to the xylem vessel, and the xylem vessel transport it to the leaves and of the plant. With this, we finish the adaptation. I'll repeat it once again about the root hair cells. Root hair cells are long and narrow structure. And when it is long and narrow structure, what happens? It increases surface area to volume ratio. And when it is increased, so you see those cells which have increased surface area to volume, they have in that those cells, rapid diffusion can take place. So what happens? By the process of diffusion of water and by the process of active transport, salt from the soil is absorbed, and this absorbed water and salt are sent to the xylem vessels, and from the xylem vessel it carries to the root, leaf, and the root of the plant. So children, with the help with this we end the topic. We will see you on the next class. Thank you.